We onboarded a new client not long ago, and the first thing she told me was, my open rate on our emails is 45% and they produce 0 sales. Maybe there's something wrong in what I'm writing, maybe there's something wrong with the funnel, I don't know, could you please have a look and help me out here, because I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And this is the classic example of when we get fixated on stats that really don't matter that much, when the problem is much deeper. So in this video, I'm going to show to you our process on how we evaluated what was actually wrong in the process, how we fixed it, and how we managed to gain sales back on track with one single tweak. We usually don't work with people that have just started yet. And with this specific clients, we've seen that they had an amazing offer. Their social media was surprisingly successful. They get many views on their Instagram Reels, so it wasn't even on YouTube. They have a funnel that is functional, they have all the pieces together, they have a ManyChat sequence as well to automatize people sending them DMs and comments. They had everything a creator, online creator should have to monetize their content. But for some reason, they had an amazing offer with low price, content that was getting traction, emails that get opened, but no sales. So we had to look at it, and just because we wanted to genuinely see what was wrong there. First thing we looked at was the offer. Is the offer even make sense? We looked at the sales page, it was beautifully written. The offer was a no-brainer, extremely low priced, perfect. It told everything that a buyer needed to say. Then we looked at the funnel and we saw that in order to get to the actual offer, there were so many hoops that the buyers would have to go through before they even see the sales page. But I don't think that was the problem, because they didn't even get people go through the funnel because of the low click-through rate. It also reminded me of that call that we had with this brilliant creator. They told me they had 4 million subscribers, so combined between TikTok and Instagram. And when they launched the first course, they only managed to sell about 100 at an $80 price point. This is going against everybody that say that if you have an audience, you have a business, you just need to build an audience, get visibility, get views, and everything will happen. And this couldn't be further from, why do I get myself into saying things I don't know how to say? Further from the truth? And this couldn't be more untrue. Their reels got liked, watched, and saved, but the reason why nobody inquired about working with them or buying from them, it's because their setup, the type of content was not activating the buyers. Not all content is created equal. I don't care if you get 1 million views on one video. If that video is not activating the right buyers, you'll never make a sale. Yes, you'll have millions of subscribers, but then can you deposit that on the bank? Can you even help someone with your content? This is a situation that so many creators find themselves because they've been sold the dream of building an audience, gain visibility, and going viral, which is something that I completely go against, because it doesn't even make sense to spend all of that time and effort building an audience if you can't monetize it, if you can't help it. When you sell to people, that's when you actually transform their lives. Nobody transformed their lives by watching a reel on Instagram. Specifically with this client, they managed to create reels on Instagram that created even hundreds of thousands of views. And the only problem with that, though, is that they didn't get the reaction they wanted. Sure, they got views, they got likes, they got shares, some comments, but no DMs to get to know more about their courses or inquiring to work with them. Why? Because their content was teaching all the time. And when content teaches, the reaction you get from people is, this is useful, I should probably follow you for more. That's it, that's the reaction you get. But in order to get a reaction that is, oh my God, I didn't know I needed this, how do I buy from you? Your content has got to change, and their content for specific clients had to change too. I always say this to all of our clients. No matter if this is a sales page, an email sequence, content, it's always the same story. When it comes to buying something, people always ask themselves 3 questions. Can I trust you? Can I be sure this will work for me? And also, why you specifically? How are you different from anybody else? If your content or your sales page or your funnel or all the things that you put into place don't answer those 3 questions, people will not buy. And in my opinion, I would rather keep the business system to the bare bone, like super simple, because I want content to answer these 3 questions for me. Because I first don't want to spend hours with clients trying to convince them to buy from me. I don't want to spend my days on the DMs for them to maybe book a call to then spend 2 hours to convince them to buy. Or I don't want them to go through a million email sequences before they know they can buy from me, because that's exactly what they need. And I told them a million times. How many times do I have to tell you? And with our clients, we sat down and identified first, why should people trust you? They needed their story clarified so that people can understand it and they could interweave it in their content, in their sales page, everywhere. This is why people love you, because they understand that they relate to you based on your story. And then we worked on their method. Nobody believes they have a method, especially the great coaches. They always think, well, I just see things and I help people achieve what they want. Yeah, really? I know you do that, but from my point of view, it looks like you're doing a sequence of things all the time, like there's a pattern. I want you to have a look at that pattern, label it, and let people see it, because that is what makes people think, I think that will work for me. I understand the process. I think I can do that. That's the key. Second point. And the third point is your embodiment, your testimonials, your vibe. Why are you legit and how are you different? You do it by showing how you live, what you do with people, what happens behind the paywall. All of that stuff is important. But the things that changed the behavior in their social media from save, watch, and forget about you into, hey, I need to DM you because I want to buy from you, was one single reframe on their content. They were used to say stuff like, how to achieve X. And then we changed that into, the reason why you don't have X is because ... That was the difference in the framework. And that slight change in a reel that now I think it's more than 60,000 views, generated DMs and sales just because the message was slightly different. People understood what they needed because they knew now how to describe their method. They knew how to tell people not how to do the things, but what they need to work on to get the results, and that activates people. Now I get what I need, I didn't know, and that's valuable because even if you're not telling me what to do exactly, now I know what I need to work on, and that's extremely valuable. Problem awareness changed everything. And this is just one little element that we plugged into their business. This helped them to get some momentum going, see what offer works compared to others, gain some ideas for more content, and this is a momentum, it's a wave that they are riding now. They are planning the next launch, the next offer, but this is the frame that they changed. It's not that we're doing anything wrong before, it's more like we use the magnifying lens now to channel their energy based on how to activate their ideal client, rather than teaching everything they knew for free to everybody and nobody taking action. Is this you as well? Do you have all of the numbers on paper? Your audience is liking, watching and saving, subscribing. Your emails get opened. Your offer seems legit, like you're creating an offer that it's amazing, is at the right price, and you poured all the value that you know you can add to people into it, but nobody's biting. It's probably because your content is not pre-selling your audience into your offers. They don't know why they don't know if that's gonna work for them, and they don't know why you are different from everybody else. If you want that to be embedded in everything you do in your online business, you need to work with us so we can work together and fix this thing so that you can turn subscribers into payments, because when people get activated, they start needing your product, not just thinking that you are useful. If you want our help, there's a link in the description below. We can chat from there.